You're ready, Counsel.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Chenevert, and I represent Mismo Fire Insurance Company, an insurance company that has served the people of Nita for years. Now, just as you wouldn't expect a car insurance company to pay a claim for a hit and run when their policyholder backs their car out of their garage and scrapes the side of their car, you wouldn't expect a fire insurance company to pay a policyholder's claim whenever they set their own house on fire. Now, opposing counsel was correct. Flinders thought that, or Flinders may have thought that since they had insurance, yes, you know, they could be okay. That's if their claim is valid. So what we need to determine today is whether the fire that occurred at the Flinders Company building was because of an accident or because of arson. Now, how do you determine that? Well, there's going to be a list of witnesses today that's going to testify on what they saw, what knowledge they have, everything you want to know. There's going to be physical evidence that you're going to be able to see, touch, feel. Probably don't want to taste it because I think it's going to have to do with ash. But you're going to be able to assess the witnesses, their testimony. You're going to be able to assess the evidence. And you're going to determine whether this was an accident or whether this was arson. Now, one of the first things that you're going to hear is you're going to hear about the financial condition of the company of Flinders. And you're going to hear from the horse's mouth, the president, Mr. Arthur Jackson. And he's going to tell you that the company, in less than 2 years, had lost $1 million. He's going to tell you that the company was in debt. They owed a bank $400,000. Now, the president of that bank, Mr. John Anderson, of Nita Family Bank, is going to testify, and he's going to tell you that Mr. Jackson came and tried to renegotiate this loan and tried to get more funding, but he denied him because he did not have a stable plan of financing that was going to carry them in the future. Now, you're also going to hear from Mr. Jackson, and he's going to tell you that, you know, he was in a bind. So he went to his wife, who had just received $300,000 inheritance from her father, and he asked her for a loan. She denied. Now, what you're not going to hear from Mr. Jackson is that after being denied, and being in a financial crunch, that he stopped spending. You're not going to hear that. What you're going to hear is that he started spending more. He went straight to Mismo and increased his fire insurance coverage. He increased it $500,000 to $1,667,000. But he didn't stop there. He went and hired a new employee and paid that employee that he had never met, never interviewed, didn't even know, $5,000. Now, you're also going to get some evidence, and this is mainly going to come from Chief Fire Marshal Olson. And he's going to tell you that whenever the fire was done and it was all the rubble was on the ground, that he went and investigated this fire, because that's what he does. That's his job. He looked at all the evidence, and he determined that this was arson. But he's also going to tell you that he's had experience with Mr. George Avery, who is the most recent hire of Flinders. He's going to tell you that he's investigated 2 prior fires at large companies like Flinders, where Mr. George Avery worked. And he's going to tell you that both of those were determined as arson, and that he suspected Mr. George Avery. So there's a lot of things that you're going to hear today with the witnesses, and a lot of things you're going to see with the evidence. But I want you to remember that there are some undisputed facts here. One, that Flinders Company was in a financial crisis, and Mr. Arthur Jackson knew that. And he went and he increased his fire insurance coverage $500,000 to $1,667,000. He paid $5,000 to a man that he didn't know, a 2-time suspected arsonist. And 2 weeks later, his building burned down. So with all of that, it's your determination on whether this was arson or whether this was an accident. And I'm firmly convinced that the evidence will show that this insurance claim should be denied, which you should find in favor of Mismo.
Good.